Think of Ike White every time I drive down Martin Road every morning by the football field at Mount Pleasant High School. And I think about that because I know all the work that he did in terms of advocacy in the community to make sure that that complex was built right. And I also know for a little while there that maybe I was on the wrong side of that issue, and I was not helping as much as I should be. And Ike let me know that. And I realized that when he came down to the school board and spoke, that speaking was not going to stop until we did something about it. And he was right. And about 3 weeks ago, we dedicated the all-turf field at Mount Pleasant High School, and you have to remember that that was done because of the advocacy work that Ike White has completed in our community. So we all owe a lot to him every day as he's touched our lives in many different ways. And I thank him for his persistence and for his constant attention to the needs of our youth in our community.
I met Ike and the White family when both our Kaylas, my Kayla and his Kayla, joined Valley Vista. And from day one, I remember that first day waiting out on the playground for our kids to start kindergarten. Ike introducing himself and saying, okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for the school? And he had me hooked. I got both the twinkle and the other eye. And never regretted a moment of it. Ike was there for every child. Every child was his child in sports. And community was it. One of my fondest memories is we had decided to do a spaghetti feed for Valley Vista. And we had about 30 parents sign up to come. And I'm cooking, Ike's helping me in the kitchen. All of a sudden, someone comes to the back and says, we have over 100 people waiting, and they're angry because we're not letting them in, and we didn't have enough food. As we rallied around and sent everyone out to every local store, Ike went out and let everyone in free of charge or for a buck, whatever they could do to make them happy. And within minutes, he had an angry mob laughing and just having fun, not worrying that it was taking them an hour to get a spaghetti dinner. Ike's biggest legacy beside his children, Corey and Kayla, is what's in this room and its community. Ike had the ability to bring everyone together for a common cause. It was fun, and we got stuff done. Thank you.
And the honor of calling Ike White my neighbor. He lived next door. He's the best friend you could have. You need anything, he's there. You have a question about how to do anything, he knew how to do it. We teased each other, and I hardly ever called him Mike. He was always neighbor. We moved to Colorado 7.5 years ago, and every time I called, it was, hi neighbor, how you doing neighbor? How are things in your neighborhood? I had the pleasure, the honor, and the pain of helping Jan take care of Ike the last 3 weeks of his life. He was still so strong, so strong. He didn't want to leave anyone behind. But he knew that he was leaving them in good hands. He was leaving them to his Lord to take care of and watch over. And I'm just very, very privileged to have been part of that. And I thank you, Jen, for calling me to be there. I will be there in a minute. Thank you.
The best part of all is that we became so close that he became like a second father to my daughter. From day one through I believe fourth grade, he delivered her in the evening or the afternoon to the house. But along came a crisis. Of course, I had volunteer nighttime with him, so we were involved in the PTA, the cooking, the sports. We created programs at Valle Vista that are even now still current on Sport Day, because we had so much money at the end of the year from PTA, and we could not carry it over to the following day. There's a limit. But from politics to community and neighborly, he was good. He was not only himself, but he wanted to get the neighbors involved. With Dave, with the community meetings, he started the neighborly walks, per se, various things. But he was a part of our family, like I said, from day one. He needed a new van. He said it was not his type anymore, so he offered it to me. I have that van. With the kids, I still have the little fish that Kayla put on. The writings in the back. The one thing that all these kids got to treat was every Friday. If they behaved, they would get a run to 7. So again, he is not gone within us. He will keep them. So, and there's still things that were pending. In fact, about 3 weeks ago, when I saw him just before the your last visit for the inauguration, or where you were honored. About court. And he was he was upset because I wasn't going to be able to make it. We were gone out of town, but friends saw him there, and he's still strong enough. Came back 2 weeks later, and that's when I stopped by, and I didn't know that he had been sick. I didn't think it was going to be such a quick thing, but I saw him the last day that I saw him was Thursday, and he, even though I was told also he could hear, he could relate, he couldn't really see, but he would go on and off. But the best part is that people that did stop by at that time, he wouldn't remember, he wouldn't put the voice together, but later on, he would come back and communicate who had been here, what they had talked about, being brief. So he was a happy man. He was happy. He had a good life. So, Jan, so we'll continue to be her neighbors.
Mr. White, so Mr. White, the first experience I had with storytelling was 3 years ago. I was roommates with Kayla, and the Whites graciously had a chili night for our whole team to have. Most likely we just got our butts pulled around on the field, so it was to up morale. So Mr. White would talk to us, and his message, though it was long, 3 bowls of chili later, we would be sitting down on the floor just listening to him talk, and anything he said, we would just latch onto it. It was, even though we lost, even though we did horrible that day, he was there to lift us up, to encourage us. In the future, if we lost a game, he was still there to give us a high five. If we lost, he would still talk to us, acting like if we just won the championship or something. He was always there. He encouraged us to push harder and do more. And my personal experience with Mr. White is earlier this year during my senior game, I wasn't able to start the first game, and I was just devastated. So I was behind the dugout, and I was just sitting there defeated. And he came up to me and he said, "You can't control what other people are going to do to you. You can only do what you can do for yourself and do the best at it." And I took that message, played the next game, did really well. And I carried that message and I carried that meaning throughout my whole senior year. And at the end of the year banquet, he sat down with me, we got comfortable, sat down for about half an hour or so. And he talked to me, he said, "You're done with softball, what's your next step?" So currently I teach 4th grade in the Oakland School District. And I told him that, and he said, they're going to be rough on you. It's going to be hard. But again, do what you do it at the best of your ability. And that's what I'm doing right now. At my school, in my classroom, each teacher has something called a grounding wall. What a grounding wall is anything and any memory you have, you paste on that wall. So when things get rough, when things get hard, you look at that wall. And on that wall I have 4 pictures. I have a picture of my family, I have a picture of my best friends from high school, I have a picture of my best friends from UC Riverside, and then I have a picture of the softball team. And on the side is Mr. White smiling, and I have it circled, and a quote underneath it. It says, "Do your best at anything that you want to do." Because those are the last words he ever said to me, and I will carry that message with him forever. So if you take anything away from this, you can take that message with you. But don't just take it with you and hold on to it. Carry it and share with other people. Do your best at whatever you do. And if you fail, try again and do your best to more. Thank you.
At East Valley, so Twister Sisters, part of the family. We could all relate to Ike because he always would say, "Come on, do your best." We'd be lounging around between games. "You guys need to go up, warm up." I'm like, "We got it, we have an extra half an hour." No. And there he'd be telling all of us, and then we'd find ourselves hearing another story. We're like, okay, we'll go. So that was just his way of saying it, but it was, when I heard about this news last week, I was torn apart. I was like, wow, like, I never knew something like this would happen because I haven't seen them for years, but knowing that we're all together as a family still, being together, it's kind of feels good to see everybody coming together. One thing I remember from him telling us, we were down in a game at one of a tournament, and Miguel was actually our coach, and he's like, offense sells tickets, defense wins games. And sure enough, we won that game, and I'm like, okay, let's go from there. But out of 7 years that I know him, I've only seen him mad once, and that's because it was a bad call on all parts, and I never heard that man yell so bad. I'm like, okay, we're all in trouble, let's just, we'll get it another time. So, Ike's legacy is for sure going to live on for a very long time. And thank you, Caleb, for being a good friend, and Jen for always being the softball mom, and Corey for being another cheerleader.